I'm not going to tell you the sweet stuff. I'm not going to peanut butter sandwich it. I'm not going to give you something sweet on the top, something sour in the middle, and put something sweet on the bottom. I'm not going to do that because I don't have time for that. I've experienced the experiences. And when you're dealing with black people and you're talking about you actually have to train them up to have African-centered consciousness, black people have to be retrained to have black African-centered consciousness. And in order to have African-centered consciousness, you actually have to stay with our people and repetitiously drill them down in all these various facets because there's so much that is missing. There is so much that is missing. And then you have to combat the white brain that is on reflex and autopilot through epigenetic trauma, through habitual programming, societal programming, and you got to train that new behavior in with Pavlovian conditioning for most of the time people who are not willing to adjust themselves or be adjusted. They're not willing. African-centered consciousness in 99.99% of the ways is diabolically opposed to the systems and circumstances that we have lived in. You know, and it's unfortunate, and I get the level where Dr. Umar is trying to do the parts that he can do and keep things moving, because when you are the prime mover and you are functionally creating a system, someone has to watch these things. You have to train up a team with specific functions, and then when you are this prime mover with this African-centered consciousness, you can only divvy out certain details that don't require, and whatever they do, if they mess it up, it won't hurt the whole situation. See, so some people say, oh, you need to get a school in a garage, or you need to go do a little charter school here. You don't know what you're talking about because we have already those things. This is not the same as those things that you're used to seeing. African-centered consciousness is going to look completely different from what is here. You know why? Because African-centered consciousness is almost extinct from our social landscape. Extinct. So a lot of us do something that looks good. A lot of us talk a little African sense, but it's African nonsense. Okay? I'm talking about the depth. Our analysis is not deep enough. Our functions and actions and repetitive behavior is not deep enough. It's not. I know you don't want to accept that because people get their little squeamish, get the little feelings, and what qualifies you to say that? And I'm telling you because I've been living it for 20 years. I've been training and adjusting people for over 25 years. I've been on this journey for my own elevation, and I've pushed it to the limit of what it's supposed to look like. The theory of how it's written. I literally applied how it's written to real life in this lived experience. My life, the social experiment. Because I was building out my self-concept. And it never made sense to me to indoctrinate myself or allow myself to be indoctrinated or follow the path of the systems of oppression. Why would I do that? And it became bizarre to me why our best and brightest, our talented 10th, was enrolling black people to do that. And you know, the Matrix, because of Neely Fuller's United Compensatory Code system, it's going to reward this behavior because it makes some sense, but it's African nonsense. And it's going to keep you in the wrong direction, which means distract, deny, delay. So that means as long as our best and brightest, with the bells and whistles and trinkets ups and clapping ups that we give and all the allowable things, you already know the metrics is done. The metrics has been done. Anything that you do, the society, the systems, the powers that be, those who have the power to define, have already put that through the calculations. And I happen to be one person with 6 freaking brains that operate in these various levels, but I'm still outdone by these universities and these research institutions and foundations that work round the clock shifts, processing how to make sure your back behind don't move forward. And we are our greatest, we are in our greatest opposition. It's unfortunate. You know, that man is he's moving this space, and to train our people from how diabolically dysfunctional we are is a very heavy lift. I'm telling you not what I heard, but what I know. I've given the best possibility and created the most pristine experience. And the wild dog still reached back and bit me every time. Every time. I'm talking about epigenetic. I'm talking about habitual bad behavior. And I'm talking about tussling with the person who believes that they have self-agency to do and exercise what they want. This is an analysis and a conversation that no one is willing to have. Most of our people are not willing to have it. And some of us that do have it, they say, yeah, this is wrong, but you're not willing to go deeper to understand how to fix it. And how to fix it is going to require you to do some kind of work that you've never done and walk into an entirely pulverizing, generalized anxiety space that is going to probably make your skin crawl and give you all these reactions, these impulse reactions, sweat glands and throat thickness and headaches and all those things. How long can you stand it until you get on the other side where some of this stuff starts making sense? I'm telling you, I walked through it for almost 2.5 years of dealing with that, because I had to bust through. And I'm telling you, as I've explained to people before, when you come through that when you break that spiritual bond to that tether that's holding you back, I don't know what it's going to look like for some people. It looked like a nervous breakdown, all those things. That's what the scientists called it. I was going through all the things to come out of breaking and it's hard. The crust is, and I was 22 when I broke it. I don't know what to say for somebody that's 60 years old coming out of it, what that might look like for them. But I am telling you that the tether and the depth of analysis is much greater than what everyday John and Jane Q public keep talking about. And it's unfortunate that they're not even willing to be a space for a possibility. You believe that you have nailed this down and that you are officially, that's what it is. You're not willing to receive. That's bizarre. And that's indicative of us. See, other groups, they want the solution. How can we fix it? Well, fuck it. Whatever I gotta do, I gotta do it. We'll just do it. Because I want it to be fixed. Because I want the long-term residual effect of something fixed. See, we keep talking that talk and doing that foolishness, and for 75 years, we've been creating more of the same. And we've literally been getting worse. There is no strategy for hope in my book. There's only a strategy for action, for the action plan. And alone, I can't do it. And I've tried to. And like I said, the wild dog bites me every time. Every time. So even given the possibility of a right experience, when you're one person trying to move something into a certain direction, you are the prime mover, do I have the time to stop, sideline, and literally because in order to do that it's almost like boot camp. And and then you're still subject to somebody going abscond every time. Our people, we don't really know how serious it is. And this is why we gray area. This is why we're willing to take that little bit of something, and work with that. Because we're not willing to take it to the whole, all the way to the whole. We're not. So I would really prefer, until you gain a fully functional, reanimated African mind, I'm not talking about the bells and whistles and clap it up and ways you validate yourself by gauging through yourself through the matrix. Because if you're still doing that, you got a long way to go. I'm just telling you, you have a long way to go. I don't care what you've proven. My circumstance proves that do something different. And yeah, I get the rejection, and I get the pitfalls and people trying to cut across and doing it. Why? Because I'm dealing with their reflexive minds. They've never seen it.
New message from mom. Hey.
They said, you're supposed to be walking
New message.
We've never seen it. We're walking by faith, not by sight. And we've never seen it. We keep trying to associate it with something we've seen, and we've never seen it. So we're going to have to do something different.